Well, it is becoming increasingly obvious. I can deny it no longer. I am slow. A slow writer, a slow artist, and a slow video maker. But before we get into all of that, I would like to welcome you to my end of the year debrief video, where I shall attempt to draw a self-portrait to show my growth as an artist. This being the first one I do on this channel, I'm sure it will not be anything too grand, but who knows. While I do that in the background, I will be discussing my activities of the year and my plans for the next. This past year has been one full of ups and downs. An honest roller coaster with more lows and plateaus than highs. Nevertheless, I have learned from it. 2021 was one of the most productive years of my life, full of growth and finished projects. Entering 2022, I had wanted to be just as productive, if not more, cranking the project meter to 100 and going plus ultra. But I overestimated my abilities and got ahead of myself. As I said, 2021 was the most productive year ever. But when I tried to transfer that momentum into the next year without a break, I burned out. I spent a little over 3 months not doing any work whatsoever. And any time I did try to get work done, I stared at a blank canvas or page for hours. And when I pushed beyond, forced myself to put pen to tablet, I could only push out sloppy scribbles that fueled thoughts of doubts and rage. Of course, I eventually pulled myself together and started getting some work done, slowly but surely. But once again, I began to overestimate my abilities. I had mostly been doing studies and doodles, working to better my drawing skills. But I felt I needed to get back to doing projects. Things to help me build a portfolio of art and stories. And right when I had plans of doing a debut short story in comic form, a Webtoon call to action sprung out at me, claiming my interest. What was supposed to be a slow, calm build-up of a project turned into an action-packed, strict deadline, major stakes competition. Money, recognition, and a job in the industry all seemed like rewards worth burning out for. But in the end, I didn't finish. Fast forward to now, another project is not finished. A much different narrative than last year. And here I am, reaching the end of the year, with nothing new to add to my portfolio, just lessons to take into the new year. Lesson 1 and 2. I am a slow writer, and I am a slow artist. But, not really. I am simply not fast. This comes from my level of inexperience with drawing and writing certain things. Something I mention a lot. Experience. A lot of my time is spent looking for answers that are not yet part of my mental library. Something an experienced artist could get done in an hour would probably take me a day. A whole day of work to get done to the full extent of my ability. Depending on what it is, it could take even longer. And if I were restricted to the same amount of time, I could rush and get it to a level of completion. But it won't look good. Not as good as I could make it look. This year I rushed both projects because I believed if I tried hard enough, if I put my mind to it, I could push through them and get them done. And while there is some truth to this, I would have also had to sacrifice the quality and settle for low quality work. But I have trouble doing that. If I feel I could draw something better, with a bit more time and some reference, then I will try until it is right. If I am writing a story and a plot point doesn't fit, I find it difficult to move forward without settling the issue in a reasonable way. Which happened a lot this November, because I had ended Preptober with a lot of story issues I thought I could simply write away. But as I approached them, I could only write around them. It got to the point where my characters even sounded like they didn't know what they were talking about. And I couldn't move on to the rest of the story that I did understand because I felt that those holes needed to be filled before I could build what comes after. When it comes to the webcomic, I was faced with an endless stream of things that I had never drawn before, and each time I needed a reference to take the time to get each panel as good as I could get it. A slow process. But the story was also rushed because of the deadline I had planned for. I was able to settle for a basic set of events to go around the fight scene that was required for the contest. A far different outcome than I was planning to do originally. And as I approached the end of this year, burdened by the weight of unfinished projects that I feel I need to finish in order to move on, stress and defeat built up within me. I feel incapable. I begin to regret what on the outside would appear to be time wasted and what looks to be more times wasted in the future, just so I can finish what I started. Not for myself, not for my portfolio, and not even out of the desire to tell the story, but for pride, so that I could say that I finished what I started, that I am capable, that I didn't waste my time. But the reality is, in the grand scheme of things, my pride isn't going to accomplish my dreams, and neither are half-baked stories. Finishing those projects as fast as I could would not give me back the wasted time. I'm at the point where I need to ask myself if the output is worth the time put in. And this happens to many people all the time. We can't always finish everything, and not everything is worth finishing as a priority. Some projects need to be put aside to marinate, while others need to be completely restarted. In this beginning phase of my journey, I believe that it is more productive to take lessons learned into a new project than it is to try to polish ones that were poorly started. And some might say there is no such thing as perfect work, that at some point you have to just finish a thing and put it out. And this is true, but I don't want perfect work. I want good work. And when I've mastered good work, I want great work. There is no reason to dedicate time to releasing bad work. And rushed work for me leads to bad work. So my failures from this year now converted into lessons to fuel growth in 2023. The projects I started this year will be completed, but they will be done right, taking the time to solidify the story, the art, and the designs. It may not be done this year, and I can't say when they will be done, but when they are done, at least I know I have done all I can to make them good. I will work on multiple projects so I can step away from the others when I get stuck and return when I have new ideas. While I develop stories, I will practice my art. I will develop my skills and relinquish my doubt in my ability to succeed. And once again, I will share this journey with you. You will see me write, you will see me draw, you will see me try, and you will see me fail. Because I am still growing and learning, like you. Just sharing my growth and understanding so that others may learn as well, and so that I can learn in the process.